find that the sound in the mouth is like uneven, I'll try to fix it up in editing. It's like a badly dubbed Chinese movie. But
Okay.
so this is Elliot Tanzer, and he's our astrologer, and he's speaking at May 31st, 2012, and you're speaking about mutables and...
The four mutable signs as the four healers of the zodiac.
Okay. Doesn't he have a great voice? I mean, man, he should do voiceover work or something. So not only do you do astrology, but I see on your website that you also do Feng Shui.
Feng Shui, I've been doing that for lots of years too, but astrology I've been doing 44 years.
I see, and the Feng Shui has been...
Since the early 1990s.
Oh, I see. Okay. And do you find that people of a particular Western astrological configuration, they do better with different type of Feng Shui, or the Feng Shui is sort of like a universal thing that this corner is always good for money and that corner is always good for hot sex?
Well, you can hope for the best. Actually, there's three kinds of Feng Shui, and one kind is called landform. And all schools of Feng Shui are dependent on that.
Okay.
Whereas where's the beams, where's the bathrooms, where's the door to the bedroom, and relationship to the bed.
Right.
So that's structural stuff.
Right.
It's land forms or forms. Then there's what you were referring to, which comes under the category of Black Sect Tantra Buddhist Feng Shui. Mm-hmm. And that's really a very modern, contemporaneous form. And it depends also on the forms.
Right.
But as a technique, it really is, you might call it based on the theory of relativity. Mm-hmm. In other words, what's our perspective? What's the subjectivity of us as we enter a space?
Right.
And how does the left brain see and the right brain sees? And what's the yin and the yang? And then where would you say the money would be? You can put the money at the front door, put it in the back left, because it's the left side.
Right.
And the right side would be more intimacy, so that's the relationship.
Oh, okay.
As you're hoping for hot sex.
And make sure that there's two sides to the bed,
Yeah.
right? Two side tables. Don't put your bed up against the wall, because that doesn't let anybody in your bed.
So exactly. Or no one wants to be up against the wall.
Exactly.
Right? So it's a divorce situation.
It's a bad situation. Take the teddy bears off the bed too. Just as a little thing between us girls. Grow up. Okay. So.
Or pick a guy who likes teddy bears.
Really? Okay. Now, after you speak with us, you're going to be doing a workshop on the 2nd?
Saturday, June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Saturday. It's an all-day workshop, 10:30 to 5:30, and that's on Astro Cartography.
Right.
So as an astrologer, we can do chart readings, natal chart interpretations, what's your personality type, what's your issues with relationships and health, and compatibility studies. That's another thing that we do, expertise on our menu of services. And then the third might be transits, progressions, solar arcs, or is future forecasting, where you're at now, what's coming in the next months or weeks to come.
Right.
A fourth very important technique, which unfortunately is very often neglected by modern astrologers that now have this ability, is Astro Cartography.
Right.
Which is basically mapping out where the planets were crossing the face of the Earth at the moment of your incarnation.
Right.
Earth.
Right.
So if you were born when the sun was rising, you'd see the sun rising or ascending over that city you were born in.
Right.
And likewise, someplace else in the world, Venus was rising, or Saturn was rising.
Oh, I see.
So each of these, now some places might have three configurations. What's at high noon, what's at midnight, what was descending, what was ascending. If you happen to have a planet each of these places within 8 degrees of the angle, then that's going to be a significant factor in how you see the world and how the world sees you.
When I went on tour, I teach polymer clay. When I went on tour in 2007, I was trying to decide what would be a good place to meet with my claymates. And a friend of mine did Astro Cartography and said, "Who do you know, like in the Austin area?" And I said, "Oh, just tons of people," because I had Venus running right down, for instance. And so since we're doing art, and since we're doing sculpting, I have Venus in Virgo, and so I'm fairly pedantic. It was perfect. I had the most wonderful 3 weeks, taught in Austin, San Antonio, and Arlington, and loved it. I didn't want to leave.
For instance, my question would be, and why did you? You don't have to answer the question. It was rhetorical.
Yeah.
Because Venus would be the goddess of love, art, and beauty.
Oh, if I didn't have family obligations here.
That's usually the excuse.
Yeah.
But do you know did they tell you what planets you had here?
No, not really.
Now, if you're just using a computer program, right, that's going to be good for a thumbnail sketch. You really need to get the large maps that Jim Lewis devised years ago that you get through astronumerics.com. And if you go to the sidebar where it says calculations and then go there and click down 5, it'll say maps only. So a map is $13.
Oh, okay.
Cheap enough that you're not saving money using the program on the computer. Now, I'll use my computer map for those clients who aren't ready maybe to commit to it and they want to kind of go, you're living on Saturn line.
Yeah, right. You said 500 miles east or west of your
Saturn line. I wouldn't tell you to leave if everything is fine. Then you ask your leading question. How's your bones and joints, or do you have TMJ severe and you're only in your 30s?
Oh,
Now we could say, oh, you're a Capricorn rising or Saturn conjunct the Sun. You're likely to have problems like that.
Yes.
You might say it's a precondition of the chart.
But
why are you having it in your 30s?
Yes.
Instead of in your 60s or 70s.
Right.
Now I grew up on my Saturn, Jupiter, and Moon lines.
Oh.
So I had all kinds of Saturn problems as a teenager, from bad skin to bad teeth to funny knees to an S curve in my lower spine.
Gosh.
Okay, but I also had Jupiter. So what a wonderful opportunities I had there. Okay, but as soon as I came to California in '68, my Venus line.
Oh, nice.
Right, I was like a kid in a candy store.
Peace, love, and flower power. He came at a good time.
But, I grew up in New York City, Greenwich Village. There was peace, love, and flower power there, too. But I was on Saturn. I was the moody intellectual.
Yes, right. Well, that's a good place to be.
Playing chess with the old men in Greenwich Village.
That's right.
Here.
You were a beatnik before you came out here to be a hippie.
Exactly. But it wasn't even just that so much, is that here I learned to dance. Here I became an artist. Here I got involved in a theater group instead of being a moody intellectual with a pipe and patch sleeves and a tweed jacket.
In smoky cafes.
So it was a good place to get an education and the meaning of life, but how long do you have to live with it?